Workers from major corporations are planning a massive strike, a walkout on Friday for May 1st to protest the working conditions that they've been operating under. They would like to be paid, compensated fairly for the jobs they're doing. And we all know that they're putting their own lives and the lives of their families on the line by going to work every day in the middle of this pandemic. Now, the workers chose May 1st, International Workers' Day, as a signal to workers everywhere that collectively they can take on these corporate powers. And so let me give you the details on which companies are involved and how they plan on doing this protest. The Intercept reports that workers from Amazon, Instacart, Whole Foods, Walmart, Target, and FedEx are slated to walk out on work, citing that what they say is their employers' record profits at the expense of workers' health and safety during the coronavirus pandemic. And make no mistake about it, some of these companies that are considered essential are certainly making more money as a result of this pandemic. Jeff Bezos, for instance, has personally become $24 billion richer during this pandemic. So you can certainly afford to pay your workers more. You can afford to give them hazard pay, which they deserve and should get. And so the employees will call out sick or, walk out on the job on May 1st. And according to The Intercept, the Workers' Coalition will unveil a set of demands. They're being very specific here. Among them are compensation for all unpaid time off used since the beginning of COVID-19, hazard pay or paid sick leave to be provided for the duration of the pandemic, protective equipment, and all cleaning supplies to be provided at all times by the company, and a demand for full corporate transparency on the number of cases in facilities. So there has been a lack of transparency. The workers are very much worried, concerned that their colleagues have been getting sick and they haven't been told about it. And so they're just being very specific about what they need, what they want. And unfortunately, they've been getting pushback on these demands since the beginning of the pandemic. And it's disgusting when you consider how much money companies like Amazon have made as a result of the pandemic.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Very specific, very reasonable. And, from the other side, what do we get in response? We get people like Stephen Moore, who makes jokes about putting everyone in a spacesuit, spending $3 trillion and forcing people to stay in spacesuits to be able to work. And in terms of what, isn't a joke, what will actually come, all that we're hearing really is that, Trump and McConnell, their priorities are shielding corporations from liability when their workers get sick and when they die. And so, we talked about, JR and I talked about this on the damage report this morning. If we were going to race ahead to reopening the economy as soon as these right wingers want us to, it would almost even be possible to do that if they had been taking this seriously from the very beginning. If we had PPE everywhere, if we had tests, like pervasive tests, it would still be dangerous, obviously, but it might be possible. But they weren't satisfied even with that. It has to be, no, we're not going to put the money into the testing and all that. It's like an insult to them when you bring up further testing, but we are going to send the workers back. If they don't want to go, they're not going to get unemployment. It's a willful quit, all that. I'm sure we're going to talk more about that too. And when they get sick, because we're not going to take it seriously, they're not going to be able to sue their employers. So really it's, you could go broke, lose everything, or potentially get sick and die. That's sort of always been the decision that's been put to workers under American capitalism. It's just far more explicit these days. It's much more direct, much quicker.
I think the silver lining in this pandemic has been the realization that workers can really get what they need, get what they want if they organize and apply pressure. Because having a massive walkout where all these workers, essential workers, decide, no, we're just not going to do it. Like all of these companies, by the way, have been doing these giant hiring sprees. And that's not a mistake. I mean, part of the reason why they've done that is because there's increased demand for various products that are sold through Amazon, delivered through Instacart and all that. But at the same time, these companies aren't dumb. Like they know that the workers really do hold a lot of power here. And if they do these massive strikes, well, then the companies are going to suffer. But here's the thing. If everyone works together and collectively organizes like this, their power is unbeatable, and they can really make these companies, their employers, bend to their will, which is important. It's about time. Yeah. Now, there have already been a few concessions. They don't go far enough. For instance, Amazon has begun paying their warehouse workers a little bit more. So according, again, to The Intercept, great reporting here, Amazon, Walmart, and Target did increase hourly pay by $2. Amazon now provides personal protective equipment at its facilities and more actively cleans workspaces, while Target has mandated its workers to wear masks after weeks of reports that they were reprimanded for doing so. So at first they were told not to wear masks and they'd get in trouble if they did. But it's not like these companies did all this because they decided, hey, we want to do right by our workers. They did this because they were pressured to. People like Chris Smalls, who was an Amazon warehouse worker before he was fired, was pushing for this. And unfortunately, he ended up getting terminated. His position got terminated as a result of him just demanding the basics. Hey, keep our workers safe. Here's a quick video of him explaining what the situation was like.
What we asked for was a simple building closure and it to be professionally sanitized. You know, we had a confirmed case and people were afraid. And that's all we were asking for. Nothing more, nothing less. We would have returned to work. They wouldn't give us that. And that's ridiculous to me. You know, we had a building a week and a half ago in Queens, New York, had the same issue. I don't see what the discrepancy is with our building, that they couldn't do the same for us. You know, there's people that's been there since the building opened, and we feel like we're not worth anything to the company. We feel like we're expendable, and it's sad to say that the company failed us. And, you know, that's all we really wanted was a building closure and to be sanitized.
It was a simple request. He lost his job because he was organizing these workers, but he's undeterred because he continues to organize these workers, and hopefully they will get the concessions they're demanding from their employers.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.